Pursuitcore is an asym game on Roblox, and when you play it, one of the characters you can choose is Nyan. Nyan is a support user given to you for free when you first start the game. She's the final member of the starting trio and the most reliable source of healing in the entire game. Her first ability is Tartshare. Nyan consumes a pop-tart, generating a radius around herself for 10 seconds. When a user steps into this radius, a beam connects them to Nyan and the radius extends. The beam can only connect to one user at a time and must be broken via stepping out of range in order to reconnect to someone else. While beamed, the user receives the Tartshare effect, healing for 4 health per second for a maximum of 25 health, and receiving a plus 7 speed boost, which Nyan also receives. Two Nyans cannot heal each other, but they still retain the speed boost. This ability has a cooldown of 28 seconds.
25 HP sounds like a small amount of healing on paper, and well, the practice actually kind of is. It's only a quarter of most people's health. However, that would be bad if Tartshare was purely focused on getting people's health up, but that is not what it is focused on. It is focused on breaking damage thresholds. The damage threshold is the amount of HP required to take a certain amount of hits from the Terminator. Obviously, this will depend on who the Terminator is, so let's say for example you're facing against Pursuitcore. She has a 35 damage M1, so the damage thresholds are 35 for 1 shot, 70 for 2 shot, and 105 for 3 shot, which is basically max health. So 25 is actually kind of a perfect number because it's not so big that Nyan becomes a major threat that needs to be taken out before anyone else, but at the same time it's not so small that her healing is useless. It's kind of perfect, it's in the Goldilocks zone of healing, if that makes sense. However, the healing alone is not what makes her such a priority to target. It's also that, combined with the speed boost that you get.
Walk speed and run speed are measured in studs per second, I think. Someone please correct me if I'm wrong on that. Every user has a walk speed of 16 and a run speed of 30 currently, so that's what these numbers mean if you ever see them in game. Tartshare gives a speed boost of plus 7, which brings the run speed up to 37, and most Terminators have a run speed of 36, which means that Tartshare makes Nyan and her teammate ever so slightly faster than every Terminator in the game. Except for the Vex, but that's besides the point. This means that Zyan is actually a frontline support. Her Tartshare is best used to jump into a chase and then get right back out just as quickly with her teammate in tow, which means that timing is everything. The best time to use Tartshare is right after the Terminator has been stunned, or if they majorly whiff an ability. Say for example, a pony charges in but misses massively, just goes flying off. Then Tartshare is best used at that point to make the maximum amount of distance from pony.
Your priority should be getting teammates out of chase over than simply just healing them. However, whilst doing this, a common mistake that many people make is focusing too hard on where their teammate is going. So, because they don't want to break the beam, so they end up kind of awkwardly stopping and starting whenever they think their teammate is stopping and starting as well, and they just don't make any distance at all. Instead, my advice would be to be the decisive one and just continuously run, force your teammate to follow. You might sacrifice a bit of healing that way, but at the very least you'll be making more distance, and ultimately that matters more than the healing. This goes both ways too, not just for the Nyan. If you're being healed by a Nyan, then you could be the decisive one instead and force them to follow you. Either way, the result is the same. Healing in this game doesn't stack, so if someone's already being healed by a Nyan or a Suki statue, don't waste a Tartshare, just let them do their thing. And on the topic of Suki, protect them at all costs. They are the only user that can heal you, so they are very important to you.
The actual healing value of Tartshare is not that great. It takes just over 6 seconds to heal one person for the full 25 HP, which gives you just about 4 seconds left of Tartshare to heal someone else. So at best, you can heal one person for 25 and another person for 16 if you immediately switch. This means that if a bunch of people take damage, then Nyan kind of struggles to keep up. So instead of splitting your Tartshare across a bunch of people and only healing them all a little bit, you're better off just focusing on one person at a time and healing them as most as you can before moving on to someone else.
Tartshare also immediately gets cancelled if you get down, so if you're low in health then it's better not to jump in. Fun fact, Tartshare's appearance depends on your graphics setting, so it's better to play on higher graphics. Her second ability is Slide. Nyan slides forward for 1 second. During this, she has iframes but cannot turn. She starts faster than run speed, then decelerates to a near full stop. This ability has a cooldown of 16 seconds.
This is basically just a dash, it's nothing fancy. You can use it to escape from the Termi if they're chasing you, iframe through abilities that would have otherwise hit you, or catch up with teammates to begin hitting them.
The slide doesn't get cancelled if you hit a wall, so try not to facepalm into anything.
Nyan's LMS buff converts Tartshare into Tart Boost, which is a 5-second speed boost. It's still plus 7 just like Tartshare, but this paired with Slide makes her a pretty agile survivalist in LMS. However, her ability cooldowns don't change at all, so you want to make sure that you spread out your slides and your Tart Boosts so that you don't ever get caught out having no options available. As for her stacking debuff, on the technical level, Tartshare heals for 0.4 health per every 10th of a second, because the round timer counts in 10th of a second, 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, so on and so forth. So with every duplicate Nyan, this decreases by 0.05. So for example, if you have 2 Nyans in the round, then their Tartshares will each heal for 3.65 health per second. You don't tend to notice this because it's such a small decrease per every extra Nyan, and also because Pursuitcore is a very sentinel-heavy asym, so there's not really many situations where you have multiple Nyans in one round, so yeah, it's again, you can kind of just ignore it, just like with all the other stacking debuffs we've covered so far.
This is Zombie Nyan, or Zyan for short. Her ability is Rainbows. Zyan vomits over medium range for about 1.5 seconds. Any users hit will get their screen covered in rainbow splatters for a few seconds. This ability has a cooldown of 15 seconds.
This ability is kind of weird to aim since it aims where Nyan is facing rather than where the camera is facing. But the blinding does get more powerful the more projectiles you hit, so that's at least something, I guess. Oh, and it's also a funny thing with Blank Stairs Siphon where the rainbow splatters will actually overlay the minigame, making it harder to escape if you hit it. But this is a pretty niche interaction, so I doubt it'll ever be fixed.
And now for the skins.
Final thoughts on Nyan, here we go. Okay, so right off the bat, I will say that Nyan is probably one of the strongest users in the game, mainly by virtue of her just being a healer. Healing in Pursuitcore is very rare. You only have 2 sources of it. One for Katsuki's statue and 2 Nyan's Tartshare. So, just by Nyan being present in the team, she's already being a massive help, just by being there, since she can undo the killer's progress, the Termi's progress rather. There is almost no other way of that being done except for having an Nyan. So that already makes her pretty strong. However, on top of that, Tartshare is both a heal and a chase escape tool. That is such a unique concept on healing. I really like it, and it actually works pretty well in practice too. Obviously, it isn't brain dead easy to use. It does take some getting used to work out when to jump in and when to back off, and so on and so forth. But as soon as you learn the basics of how Tartshare works, it's actually a really strong healing option, as well as just keeping your teammates away from the Termi, and it's quite fun too. It's a very unique take on the healer role. Obviously, Nyan's main weakness is being in chase for once, and that's kind of to be expected. Healers aren't supposed to be able to handle the killer on their own for any extended period of time, so she absolutely does need someone to defend her. Otherwise, she's basically screwed. But her other weakness is bigger lobbies, pretty much. If a bunch of people are taking damage from the Terminator, then she really isn't able to keep up with all that damage, since she's only capable of healing single targets. But I think that's a fair drawback to have, since if she was able to heal groups at a time, then she would be busted. So I think it's fair that she isn't really able to keep up if lots of people have taken damage. And really, you shouldn't be having just 1 Nyan in a bigger lobby, in a full team of 7 anyways. You should have at least 2 or 3. So that's a much better way to handle those bigger lobbies. So on her own, it's obviously you have to kind of expect that you're going to get overrun at some point. And also, you should really be expecting to be targeted, since Nyan being a healer, just that alone makes her a high priority target. And there will be rounds where the Termi is just going to go straight for you and get internal you first. That is a risk that you accept just by queuing up as Nyan. So with all that being said, I think she's fairly balanced. I really like where she is right now. Her heal is not too strong, but at the same time, it is really good at helping individual people escape from the Termi and heal up at the same time. And Slide is a solid self-defense option in the cases that she needs it, but also has the utility of catching up to others to help heal them as well. So you can you have that little speed boost of Slide with iframes, and then the further speed boost from Tartshare as well, which synergizes really nicely. So yeah, I quite like her, and I think she's a solid and very accessible option if you want to pick if you prefer supporting your teammates over fighting the enemy directly. And I know there are a lot of people. I know there are not a lot of people who like playing support characters, since it's a very sentinel heavy asym in general. But even so, if you ever decide to learn how to support your teammates, then Nyan's there, and she is super easy to pick up and play.